It's Friday. Let's make it a Friday. I know you guys have to go to the campus and have to get ready, have your scrubs ready, your uniforms ready. We'll probably be able to finish day supply because there's 2. We'll see if we can do quantity to be dispensed. But let me have the worksheets ready. Let me see if you can see my screen. I'll close the whiteboard. I'll just call on you, okay? One by one. Okay, let's see. Okay, can you see my screen? Day supply would be, how long will this prescription last? How long will this drugs last? Okay, so the final answer will be in number of days. When I say that, okay, if it's just a blank on your paper, you will have to write the number and then the word days, okay? Day supply, I didn't say month supply. And I want to point out this thing. It may sound simple, but you have to remember this. In pharmacy, for purposes of calculation, a month will always be 30 days. A month will always be 30 days. It doesn't matter if it's a month that has 31 days or 28, okay? Like February has 28 days. If it's leap year, 29, okay? I don't know if you watched in the video how I know whether a month has 31 days. Eileen, you were raising your hand.
Yeah, that looks like a different paper from what I printed out. I don't know. Did I get the wrong
packet? Can you verify this packet? This is the one in your week 2 that I downloaded, so I gotta check. Okay.
I don't know if I'm the only one.
I have day supply and quantity to be dispensed. Eileen might have pulled it from an old sequence, but I want to verify that this is the exact prescription. If not, I'm going to pull out another one. Is this the correct one or different?
That's the one I have.
Yeah, this is the one I have.
Aziri said it's the one. Robert said it's the one. You got to go to week 2. I think this is in the Wednesday folder. This is in the Wednesday folder. Okay. Fun fact, how do you know whether a month has 31 days or 30 days? This was taught to me by my mom, so old school. I wanted to pass it on. I don't know if you watch it on the video lecture, but we use the knuckles, okay? The hills and the valleys. Anything that fall under the knuckle has 31 days, and anything that fall in between, okay, has 30, or in the case of February, 28 days. If it's a leap year, 29. So this is how it goes. January, knuckle. February, in between. March, knuckle. March has 31 days. April, in between. May, June, July. The July ended on a knuckle, right? So it has 31 days. But August goes back here. It's also a knuckle. So if you check your calendar, both July and August have 31 days in them. Okay, September, October, November, December ends on a knuckle. It's got 31 days. Tony's smiling and laughing. It's like, interesting, right? Fun fact.
I've never heard that before.
Old school. Yeah, Miss Jaylin and I are like, ooh, yeah, this is old school. Okay, my mom taught me how to do that. It's so old school, okay? And I want to keep it going because it's useful. See, Tony, for one, didn't know that works. It works. You have to remember, July ends on a knuckle, and then August ends on a knuckle too. So both 31 days. Who knew that technique? Yeah? Who knew that technique before I showed you? Kevin, so probably old school. Who taught you that, Kevin?
Back in high school, there was one of my teachers, my physics teacher, he taught us that.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So, maybe old too. Yeah, old. Yeah, so he agreed. So who didn't know the knuckle technique? Didn't. Who didn't know that? A lot of you are so young, so you probably didn't know. Okay, now you learned something new. Day supply. How long will this prescription last? How many days? Okay, in pharmacy, there will always be 30 days for purposes of calculation, especially by the insurance company when we're charging patients. Okay, let me annotate. Those are 2 pages. If you notice, the first page, day supply, are either tablets or capsules. Okay, the second day supply worksheet, okay, the back, okay, if we have this in paper, are all liquid forms. And examples of liquid forms are solutions, suspension, elixir, syrup. So you will see them, okay? Let's go to the first page, the front one, Amoxil, which is a discontinued brand, but you see that it's still here on the prescription. Take note though, disclaimer, all of this are for purposes of computation only, okay? Some of these prescriptions may not have the correct dosing or actual, but this is a test for calculation, okay? Day supply. So for your first prescription, let me annotate. First prescription would be Amoxil, but you're going to have to give amoxicillin, okay, with a 500 milligram strength. This is what it means. And you have to dispense quantity. The number sign, or we call the pound key in the old days, now you call it a hashtag, is the quantity to be dispensed. Okay, take note. So if there's a quantity, you're not being asked of quantity, because sometimes there is a test wherein it'll have an instruction, calculate for day supply or quantity to be dispensed. Don't come to me asking, is it day supply or quantity to be dispensed? Here's the tip. If you see a quantity, you're not being asked of quantity. You're being asked of day supply. If you see for how long or the days, then you're not being asked of day supply, you're being asked of quantity. Is that clear? If you encounter tests like that. Okay. Another thing, a prescription is not invalid. A prescription is valid even if it doesn't have, say for example, in this case, for 10 days, for 20 days, for 30 days, if it doesn't have that, as long as you can calculate. Can you follow? It doesn't make a prescription invalid as long as you can calculate the day supply or the quantity to be dispensed based on the SIG. That clear? Okay, let's do this. Let me stretch my screen so that I can see you guys. Okay, so first one, day supply. How long will this prescription last? Your final answer should have the word days. Okay, there's 30 that you need to give to the patient. However, focus on the SIG. Okay, you have to give 1 per day. I mean, 1, what's TID?
3.
3. So you have to give 1 per dose, but you have to give it 3 times a day. Okay, it's a simple division. The quantity you need to dispense, which is 30, divided by 3. So this prescription will last the patient 10 days. Can you follow? Okay. Does the 500 milligram matter on this computation? No. Okay. When I'm taking a test and there are more numbers than needed, I'd cross out the numbers that I don't need. So I'd cross that out. That 500 milligrams is a prompt, is an information to tell you that you have to grab a 500 milligram amoxicillin from the shelf, not the 250. Okay, but the 500, because that's what the prescription called for. Okay, another thing I'd like to point out, I had students who are very, very good in math, and then I realized, why are they getting this wrong? Okay, it's a simple math, it's division, right? You go to the SIG, multiply the SIG, and then divide it from, divide a quantity divided by the total of the SIG. I realized that these students who were getting it wrong didn't know abbreviations. Like TID is 3 times a day. So it goes hand in hand. If you don't know your abbreviations, then you can't calculate this correctly. Okay, so freshmen, take note of that. You have to know the most commonly used abbreviations for SIG. I've been telling you this from the beginning, right? BID, TID, QID, QD, QOD, DO, QD, QID, and QD, QOD, and QID, according to the TJC, should not be used anymore. Why? It may cause confusion and medication error. QD is every day. QOD is every other day. and QID is 4 times a day. So when you write O fast, it may look like an I. Okay? QD is que die. Okay? Que otro die, every other day. Okay? And then your QID is 4, quarter in die, or if you want to remember it as quad. Okay? So day supply, going back. Some of these strengths are not available anymore, like this Vicodin, 5 per 500 milligrams, it's not available anymore. But for purposes of computation, focus on the quantity and then focus on the sig. Okay, Kevin, answer to day supply, Vicodin. Next one.
For Vicodin, I got 5 days.
5 days. Who said 5 days? Hands up. Okay. When faced with prescriptions like this, 1 to 2, you get the maximum. So you use the 2. And then what I do here, Q4 to 6H PRN. PRN is pro renata as needed. So 24 divided by 4 is 6, right? So I'll put times 6 here. Okay. And 24 divided by 6 is 4. You pick up the max. So I leave the times 6 here so I'm not confused. So it will be 2 times 12. Can you follow? Then you go back to your quantity, which is 60 divided by 12. That gave you 5 days. Okay? Always pick up the max. And then when you're faced with Q4 to 6H, every 4 hours to every 6 hours, don't be confused. Pick the maximum number of times per day. It'll be confusing for 6 to 8 hours. Don't use the 6, don't use the 8. Use the times 4 versus the times 3. Can you follow? That's when it gets confusing and a common error for students. Okay? Let me clear my screen because it's getting out of hand now. Okay. Next one, Percocet. Eileen, answer.
5 day supply.
5 day supply. Hands up who got 5 day supply for Percocet. We're on Percocet now, not Vicodin. Take note. You got 20 here.
Oh, Percocet, I got 3 day supply.
Okay, this is what I'm saying. So you do the times 6 here. So what's the answer?
3 day supply. I was looking at the Vicodin.
Okay, 3 day supply. Let me point this out. So it will be 20 divided by 3, correct?
20
Nope.
divided by 6.
Divided by 6. I'm sorry. 20 divided by 6 would be 3.333. Why did Eileen not use 3.333? It has to be whole number
Round
answers.
down.
Okay. And then the rule is for day supply, letter D, this is how I remember, round down. Okay. So no matter what the decimal is, you take out the decimal. Day supply is round down. Okay. Here we go. Another irregular prescription. Zithromax. 2 stat, then 1 QD. Jess, answer.
13.
13. Who says 13? 13 days. Okay. Usually this is easy. Okay. Why? The quantity minus 1. Because on day 1 you take 2. Okay. Good job. Who got 13 days? Hands up. Okay. Very good. Nicole, Premarin.
30 days.
30 days. One of my students like this a lot. Why? Because when I told them that Premarin stands for pregnant mare urine, it is a female horse's pee or urine. Okay. So once we get to reproductive system, we're going to focus more on drugs like this. Is it 30 days? Hands up. Who says 30 days? Okay. 6 to 15 of each month. You have to give 2 every day on day 6 to 15. Day 6, day 7, day 8, day 9, day 10, day 11, day 12, day 13, day 14, day 15. That means you have to give 10 per month, right? Is that right? But times 2. Okay. You have to give it for 10 days every month, but you have to give 2 of it. So 20. The quantity that you need to give is 20. 20 divided by 20 is 1. But the unit here is month. You follow? But what did I say? A month will always be equivalent to 30 days. Good job. Augmented. Moving on. Atziri, are you there?
Yeah, I'm just driving.
Ay, you are driving or you're a passenger?
Well, I was driving, but now I'm the passenger.
Oh, okay, that was a quick shift. Okay, can you answer augmentin for me?
Yeah. Let me see. Hold on. Let me grab my paper.
Yeah.
For augmentin, I got uh 45 days.
45 days, is it 45 days? Who got 45 days? So QID is 4, so that will be 180 divided by 4, 45 days, correct. Okay, moving on. Kozar, Robert. Kozar, very easy.
Didn't we just do Kozar? Wait.
No, she did augmentin.
Oh, okay. I got 105 days.
105 because you only give 1 per day. Very good. So Yasmin, continue. It's going to be 28 days because it's also once a day and you have to give 28. Okay, now Robert, you again. Motrin, 800 milligrams. It's actually ibuprofen. Okay, Motrin is a brand. Fun fact, another one. If ibuprofen is over the counter, the strength is 200 milligrams. Okay, but when it becomes 400, 600, and 800 milligram strength, it will be prescription only. But again, another question from patient, who's to stop you from taking 2, 3, or 4 of this? No one. Okay, but take caution because ibuprofen may cause bleeding, gastric bleeding. Okay, one of the side effects of NSAID is gastric bleeding, the number 1 side effect actually. Okay, Motrin 800, Dispense 100. Robert, but you have to give BID.
50 days.
Very good, 50 days. So if we're in the campus and this is a paper test, if you don't write the word days, I mark you wrong. Okay? Yeah, because sometimes students put the quantity, but then put ml. Okay? Moving on, Jess, methotrexate. This is another irregular prescription because the SIG is 2 TID on days 10 to 15.
60 days.
60 days, correct. Okay, if you watch the video lecture, I taught you a shortcut, right? The larger day number, which is 15, you remember that? Plus this minus the smaller day number, which is 10. So 15 minus 10 is 5 plus 1. That's the number of days that you're going to give this prescription to the patient. So 6 days. Okay, but it doesn't end there. It's 2 TID. So 2 times 3 times 6 would be 36. And then 72 divided by 36 will give you 2. However, that unit will be month. And each month is 30 days, like what we said. So this will be 60 days. So got that one, hands up. Okay, moving on. This is what I'm saying, Endosec. This is Q6 to 8H. Every 6 hours is 4 times a day. Every 8 hours is 3 times a day, right? So I'm going to cancel this so I don't get confused. And I'm going to pick the larger number of times per day, okay? So that I don't use the 6 and the 8. These are the tricks I'm teaching you so you don't get confused. So what happens now? 20 divided by 4 is 5 days. Who got 5 days? Hands up. Okay, Kevin, Adderall XR, moving on.
For Adderall XR, I got 50 days.
50 days, 50, because every 12 hours is 2 times a day when we're talking about 24-hour period. But there's a difference. When you give the prescription, when you receive a prescription that's BID versus Q12H, okay. When you say Q12H, another fun fact, you'll have to take it round the clock every 12 hours. Okay, so it's, say for example, 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. But you want to be smart, right? So you'll have to think of a 12-hour period or interval when you're awake. So 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. if you're awake like that. When it comes to BID, it's just 2 times a day, not necessarily 12 hours apart. It'd be nice to do it 12 hours apart, okay? But it can be breakfast and dinner. Okay, can you follow? Okay, moving on. Furosemide, Eileen, furosemide,
I have 25.
25 days, it's easy. Okay, so FX or XR, you again.
32.
32, because it will be 65 divided by 2. There will be a decimal, but follow the rule of what? Day supply, round down. Okay, good job. We're moving on to page 2, which are drugs that are in liquid form. I think we can only do this one at this point. Okay, I'll do the first one. So looking at it, I would take out whatever is not necessary right away. Okay, the 150 milligram per 5 ml doesn't matter. So I should scratch this off so it doesn't confuse me, right? And then the 150 ml matters because that's the total quantity that I need to give. But the first thing that you should do is to make it apples to apples. This is in teaspoon, you see that? And this is in ml. So rule of thumb, make it metric system all the time. So stick to the ml. Okay, and how do we convert this 1.5 teaspoon? Tony, 1.5 teaspoon to ml.
Excuse me?
1.5 teaspoon to ml is
7.5?
7.5, but it doesn't end there, right?
No.
Because you have a TID. So you have to multiply this by 3. So 7.5 times 3 is 22.5. Is that correct? So that will be your divisor. So 150. Oops, it's detecting my palm. 150 divided by 22.5 will give you, Tony?
25?
22.5. 150
22.5. Yeah, I didn't see the
150.
decimal.
divided by 22.5 is
You win 6?
Is it 6 days? Who said 6 days? Hands up. Yes, 6 days, because the final answer is 6.66666. It doesn't matter what the decimal is if we follow the round down. Drop that decimal because it's day supply. Good job. 6 days. Robert, next one, lower tab. Moving on. Let's try to finish this so
2
you guys
days.
can lead.
2 days.
2 days. Robert says 2 days. It said 2 days. Hands up. Okay, good job. Jess. Zithromax, 400 milligram per 5 ml. Dispense 300 ml.
20 days.
20 days. Who says 20 days? Hands up. Okay. Nicole, Magistral, suspension.
40 days.
40 days. Who says 40 days? Hands up. Okay. Eileen, lactulose, 12 ounces.
12 days.
12 days. Who says 12 days? Hands up. Okay. Ziri, are you good? Are you safe?
Yeah, I'm safe.
Okay. Fettergan. Fettergan with
6
codeine.
6 days.
6 days. Who says 6 days? Hands up. Back to you, Robert. Hycodan syrup, 10 ounces.
7 days.
7 days. Who says correct? Hands up. Okay, Jess, amoxil, right side, going down, 300 ml.
15 days.
1.5. Who says 15 days? Okay, good job. Nicole, Zyrtec syrup,
56 days.
56 days. Who says 56 days? Hands up. Okay, that's a staple for my son, Zyrtec. Okay, chlorhexidine, Tony, 960 ml.
32 days?
32 days. Who said 32 days? Hands up. Okay, good job. Tashanex, 4 ounces. Back to you, Nicole.
For Tennessee or Tucinex, that's 8 days.
8 days. She said 8 days. Hands up. Okay, very good. Jess, back to you. Tegretol suspension.
16 days.
Who says 16 days? Always pick up the max. Okay, so pick up the QID. 1.5 teaspoon. So that's 1.5. Okay, just to be clear. Okay, Doxepin, 180 ml. Eileen,
36 days.
who says 36 days? Hands up. Okay. Tessie Organodin at Ziri,
10 days.
10 days. Who said 10 days? Who got everything correct? Okay. This calculation matters, especially when we're charging patients. For insurance purposes, you don't want to get this wrong, okay? Wrong billing may cause what? Of course, at the beginning, it's just a written warning, okay? May cause a pharmacy to get shut down when we're talking about insurance billing, okay? Because it can fall under insurance fraud, okay? So we got to be careful when we're calculating day supply for this patients. It's crucial as well. That's all I'm going to do today so that I can give you time to get ready to go to the campus. Do you have any questions? No? Drive safely to the campus. Continue working on your worksheets. I will see you live on Monday at 10 a.m. Okay? Bye, guys. Happy Friday. Thanks, Miss Jaylene, for joining.